Welcome to the Militia Gaming Community. I'm Trigger, and this video is all about the 1965 C10 pickup. Let's go! Alright, welcome back to another wrong build video. This is number 45, I think, in the series, and this time we're going to be doing it on the C10 pickup. This thing is rumored to be the best truck in the game, but I just really don't know. So we're gonna just figure this out. We're gonna test this out. We've already went through and tested the engines, so we've got the perfect engine for all of the builds, but we are gonna show you the track build, the drag build, the off-road build, and then a drift build. And I hear that this car is really good at drifting, so I'm excited to check that out. If you haven't seen any of these wrong build videos before, this is where I test the car completely and I give you all 4 of those builds that I just mentioned. If you want to check out some of the other earlier videos in the series, you can do that. Alright, let's get into this. Let's look at the best engine for the car. Alright, so after building every single engine that's possible with this truck, there are 8 engines. I figured out that the 721 horsepower forged 3.8 V6 is the best engine to go with. After all of my testing, this is the one that performs the best, and it is the one that gives you the all 10s stats that you're seeing right there. So let's go ahead and just go through the first part of this build. We'll check out the transmission and the tires here in just a moment, but this is the preliminary track build that I've got. So you've got that forged 3.8 engine, and then Ultimate Plus engine parts with an Ultimate dual turbo. If you're just a Chevy guy or a muscle car guy and you want to throw a screw supercharger or a root supercharger on there, go for it just because it sounds good. But this dual turbo is much faster, so I would definitely recommend the dual turbo. I've got the 5x3 pound NOS with the track suspension, the Elite brakes, and the Elite race tires. Again, we're going to test those, so keep in mind we're still, the jury's out on that one still. Elite Plus clutch, Super Plus 6-speed gearbox. I think the 6-speed is the best, but I didn't do any real testing on it yet, so we're going to do that as we go through this video as well. And then the Super Track differential with NOS refills and NOS duration. All right, let's just take this through a sonic run real quick just to kind of feel out how the car is, and we might change the gearbox as well as the tires. I'm pretty confident this is what we're gonna need to end with, but let's give it a try. All right, in this sonic test, we're gonna be looking for how the gearbox reacts to some of those tighter turns in the city, and then also how fast we can get to top speed. So there's a couple of sections on this race that offer really good straight sections, so we'll try that out. Here we go. Off the line, it is really good. That is insanely fast off the line. It seems to slow down just a little bit with its top speed acceleration, but it gets there. It definitely gets there. Oh my goodness. The turning, that was such a bad turn on my part. Such a bad turn. We're not going for a sonic time on this one, so we're just trying to feel out the gearbox and the tires and possibly the downforce. So let's see what we can do. All right, so I feel like I might need to increase the steering sensitivity. It takes a minute for this truck to want to turn, so I'm not really liking that too much. The steering sensitivity definitely needs to go up, and we have the downforce already kind of down, so let's adjust this on the fly here. Let's pull the steering sensitivity up 3. Here we go. All right, not the best turn there. I really tried to stay on the pavement, but it is what it is. Like I said, we're not necessarily going for a time on Sonic. This is not a time attack. We just want to see if we can't get our settings set up here. All right, so after this run, I'm just not happy with the way that it's turning. I'm definitely going to be increasing the steering sensitivity. It needs to turn with a tighter turning radius. So let's do that. And then we'll go and test these gearboxes over on that Arion hill to see which gearbox is actually going to perform the best. All right, we're going to start with the 3-speed, but we have options of 4, 5, and 6. And I believe the 6 is the best, but this hill will give us some indication. What we're looking for is a transmission that doesn't bang rev limiter all the way up on these turns, but also doesn't bog down and be shifting into too high of a gear. So we're looking for that really happy medium. Let's go. This is the 3-speed transmission. Here we go. All right, so this one does neither. It's kind of in the middle, but it has very slow acceleration. This 3-speed just doesn't accelerate very fast, and I'm afraid I'm gonna have to eliminate it just based on that. It doesn't bang rev limiter, and it doesn't bog, but it just doesn't have the acceleration. Let's switch to the 4. I bet you the 4 will feel a lot better. All right, here we go with the 4-speed. So this one feels a lot better in its acceleration. But this one bogs a lot. It puts it in 3rd gear when it probably should be in 2nd on these turns. But my guess is that 2nd would be too high. See, so it keeps it in 3rd on most of those turns. Just doesn't feel right. Just does not feel right. All right, 5-speed. Here we go. Acceleration's good. Feels like the 4. See, 3rd gear is just a little too low on the RPMs. I really wish it was higher throughout these turns. Once the gear catches and the wheel stops spinning, it's just too low. It drops down to about 4,000 RPMs. I'm just not a huge fan of that one either, but that was the closest we've gotten to the right transmission. So I'm hoping that the 6 feels a lot better than that. All right, 6-speed, here we go. Acceleration is good. It's about the same as the others. RPMs stay high. Drops down to about 4,500 in 3rd. That one dropped down to 4,000. So this is almost identical to the 5-speed. Feels a little bit faster. That one, it dropped down to about 5,000 RPMs, which is better than the 5-speed. This is definitely the right gearbox. One thing you want to take note of is I think the 6-speed is definitely the right gearbox to go with for overall performance for this truck. But if you look at the 4-speed, you can actually gain 2 miles per hour on your top end, which means it has a lot longer of a 4th gear or last gear. And this actually would help you a lot on courses that are straighter and longer. So like the 4-cross races like Sonic and J-Storm, those races, this actually might be better for those races. So I'm not gonna pick this one for my build because I believe in a more well-rounded gearbox, which is the 6-speed. But just as a note, you can just put this down as the 4-speed might be better. It actually might even be better for off-road too, so we'll have to throw that in and test it as well. But for track build, we're gonna stick with the 6-speed. So let me go ahead and give you my final track build right now. Starting off with the engine, it's the forged 3.8 liter V6 engine with all Ultimate Plus engine parts and the Ultimate Dual Turbo. Next would be the 5x3 pound NOS tanks, the Super Track suspension, the Elite brakes, and the Elite race tires. Drivetrain, we've got the Elite Plus clutch, the Super Plus 6-speed gearbox, and the Super Track differential. And then the auxiliaries, you can run NOS duration and NOS refills. Now this gives you full 10s on the stats. Now, let's go to the live tuning real quickly. So on the live tuning, I have the steering sensitivity cranked all the way up because it's not very sensitive of a car anyway, and it has a very poor turning radius. It takes a long time to make turns. We've got that cranked all the way up. Downforce is all the way down to let that back end slide when we need it to. It still isn't great, I'll be honest. But the traction control off and the drift style and gas. All right, let's get back to the garage. Let's turn this thing into a drag truck and then we can move on. Here we go. All right, let's turn this thing into a drag truck. Let's go ahead and swap to the 1x15 pound NOS. Let's drop in the drag tires and then we're gonna test the gearboxes to see which one can give us the best quarter mile. So we got the drag tires on there. Let's go to the gearboxes, make sure we have one of each. Yes, we do. All right, before we get into testing the gearboxes for drag, I just want to raise a barks to OMG Surfy for this wrap. This thing is super clean. This is the Militia Gaming official wrap for the C10. You guys can find this in the community section if you're on Xbox. If you're on PlayStation or PC, it's not going to be there. But if you're on Xbox, make sure you follow OMG Surfy on the community tab. Go to the community tab of the wraps, and you can find this in the C10s section. This thing is absolutely dirty, super dirty. Usually I say clean, this one's dirty. It's super nice. I like it a lot. All right, let's get back to the gearbox testing. All right, first up is the 3-speed. So with the 3-speed, you're getting a quarter mile of 9.10. Let's drop the 4 in there and see where that one goes. Again, the 4-speed gives you the best top speed, so I'm wondering if that's going to affect your quarter mile here. It does a lot, actually. 8.83, that's a huge jump from the 3-speed. So 8.83 for that 4-speed. Let's drop the 5 in there, see where that one's going to be. 5-speed is 8.80, so even faster with the 5. So let's go to the 6 and just see what happens here. A lot of times the best gearbox for track is the best gearbox for drag, but in this case 8.80, so it's actually the same for the 5 and the 6. This is going to be the best gearbox. I'm just going with the 6 just for simplicity. I don't want to have to switch back to the 5 every time I want to drag race with my friends, but we're definitely going with the 6-speed on this particular build. Again, you definitely want downforce all the way down when you're drag racing. This gives you the least amount of downforce, and the car can go the fastest at a top speed or in a straight line. This is good for drag racing, so that's what we're going with. All right, let's do the final drag build. We'll throw up the build card for you here. So again, same engine, that forged 3.8 liter V6, all Ultimate Plus engine parts with the Ultimate Dual Turbo. Instead of the 3x5, we've got the 1x15 pound NOS, the Super Track suspension, Elite brakes, and Elite drag tires. Drivetrain, you're gonna have Elite Plus clutch, the Super Plus 6-speed gearbox, and the Super Track differential. Auxiliaries are going to be the same, NOS refills, NOS duration, and then again live tuning, just so you can see it. The live tuning is going to be steering sensitivity all the way up. You can actually put that wherever you want. It's not going to matter for drag racing. And the downforce all the way down. I'm just going to keep it that way so it's always the same for my track build. So downforce down, steering sensitivity all the way up, traction control off, and drift style on gas. All right. Let's make this thing a drift car. Here we go. Because this truck is a rear-wheel drive, we're actually going to be trying the rear-wheel drive setup that I use on most rear-wheel drive cars. Most of the time, the drift setup that I use works the first time. So we're going to try that out. The keys to this build are a speed cross suspension, drag tires, which you've already got, and then the Pro Drift differential. Those are the 3 keys to this build. And then you want max steering sensitivity and minimum downforce, which if you remember is what we already have. All right, the other thing is I'm just gonna swap my NOS tanks back to 5x3 so I don't forget before we go into the dirt build. So this is what we've got. This is it. This is gonna be the drift build. Let me just see how this thing performs. Let's see if we can't get a few drift clips. What am I doing, man? What am I doing? I need smoke on this thing. I can't be going out here drifting without tire smoke. This is like the 27th time I've forgotten about this. What are you doing, Trigger? Get some drift smoke. Oh yeah, dude, this is way better. Let's get it. The orange smoke with that surfy orange and black wrap. Let's go. Oh, Jesus. Man, it just doesn't want to turn. I hear that this car is really good at drifting, so I'm excited to check that out. 30K. That's not good. All right, we might have to take the drag tires off this thing. Make it a bit more responsive. Let's try the speed cross tires. See how that goes. Oh yeah, dude, this is way better. All right, that's enough fun. Let's get the drift build card up for you guys so you can see it. That is the same engine, forged 3.8 V6, the Ultimate Plus engine parts with the Ultimate Dual Turbo, and the 5x3 pound NOS. Now for the suspension, we've got the Super Speed Cross suspension, Elite brakes, Elite Speed Cross tires, Elite Plus clutch, Super Plus 6-speed gearbox, and the Pro Drift differential. And then of course, the live tuning, we need steering sensitivity all the way up, downforce all the way down. That's actually really, really important to have that max steering and minimum downforce, traction control off, and drift style gas. And that is it. Let's take this thing in the dirt, baby. Let's go. All right, to switch it into a dirt build, very, very simple. And this is the build that basically goes for all the cars. The one question mark, there's two actually. The two question marks for dirt are the gearbox and the downforce. That's what you're going to need to play with when you go to test these. So that's what we'll be testing. But as far as everything else is concerned, it's basically the track build, but with rally suspension, off-road tires, which we're going to select here in just a second. And then the differential, we need to switch to a rally diff. So that's basically the dirt build for most cars. And the thing that we want to test is the gearbox. My suspicion is that the 4-speed is a little bit better. So we're gonna try that out. But also we need to check out the downforce. So let's take this out to HTV2 and Rumble and see where this thing stacks up against the other cars. All right, here we go. HTV2 test. Number 1. Let's get going, bud. Oh, it's a little slow off the line, not gonna lie. It's actually kind of slow. Doesn't feel fast at all. Feels like it's lagging in this dirt. It's kind of sad because it's a truck, so it should be doing very well in the dirt. Gets up to 144 on that straight. That's actually really good. This doesn't feel very fast. Maybe my eyes are deceiving me. The acceleration just doesn't feel right. It's got good top speed though. Alright, as we're getting kind of close to the end of this race, I'm wondering if the gearbox is going to make a huge difference. It seems like it should. Now, it wasn't a super slow time. It ran a 154, I believe. So that's actually decent. But for the truck, for an off-road vehicle, I mean, realistically, this is an off-road vehicle. Man, it should be up there with the big boys. 154.91. The turning felt really, really good, so I'm going to keep downforce where it is. It feels like it's responsive there, but it doesn't feel like it picks up very fast. So I'm actually going to switch to the 4-speed gearbox just to see if that gearbox performs better. And it actually should perform better on Rumble because Rumble is a straighter, more open course. There's not as many tight turns as there is on HTV2. Here we go, Rumble test. Let's go. Not a bad start. Actually pretty good. We should be able to pass that guy before that turn, but probably faster than that. I feel like it should do better than that. And it looks like it never gets out of third with this 4-speed transmission. If it was going to, that would have been the place to do it. So we are asking a lot of this this third gear. All right, 1 lap down, feels okay. Now though, now that I'm testing the 4-speed transmission, I'm feeling like maybe the 5 would be better for this course. I don't even get to see the 4th gear. The gears are so long on this 4-speed that I can't even see the 4th gear on this track. I don't think I've seen it once. And see, look how it's struggling in this race. Usually by this time on the last lap, we've already passed 2nd place. But look we're just barely catching up to 3rd right now. All right, that guy can just ram into me on that turn. But look, we're not even gonna Are we gonna pass second place? This was a very slow run. 322. This is gonna put this thing next to the Raptor. Oh my goodness. Disappointing. 322.73. I raced it clean with the exception of that last little hit on the end, but this is not what I expected out of this truck. I'm actually quite disappointed. I'm gonna go ahead and test the 5-speed real quick on HTV2 and see how it goes. I'm not gonna show that in the video. I'll just skip over it, but I'll show you what the time is after I test it, because we really need to nail down which gearbox is best for this truck. So I'm going to test the 5-speed and then I'll make a decision based on that. Alright, so after taking the 5-speed and putting it in the truck and running it here on Rumble, and then taking the 6-speed and putting it in the truck and running it on Rumble, the 5-speed ran at 2 seconds faster than the 4-speed. And then I switched to the 6, and then it ran at 2 seconds faster than the 5-speed. The 6-speed transmission is 4 seconds faster than the 4-speed transmission here on Rumble, so this is definitely the transmission I want to go with. It ran a pretty good time on HTV2, and on Rumble we ended up with a 318.6 on Rumble. So this is okay. It's not a great off-road car, but it's definitely not the worst off-road car also. We'll reserve that spot for the Raptor. All right, let's give you the build card and the full build for this off-road truck. Here we go. We've got that 3.8 liter forged V6 engine, Ultimate Plus engine parts with the Ultimate dual turbo and the 5x3 pound NOS. We've got this Super Rally suspension, Elite brakes, Elite off-road tires, Elite Plus clutch, Super Plus 6-speed gearbox, and the Super Rally differential with the live tuning set to max steering and minimum downforce. That gives you the most control for the truck. And then traction control is off and drift style is gas. All right, let's give you a little summary and take a look at where this truck ranks among the other cars in the game. All right, so this truck is really, really bad in track. It ran a 308 on area and it is just not good. It's the worst track performance that I've made on any of the cars that I've tested, and this is like the 45th car. It's just not good on track. I just really wouldn't use it for anything. Now, that's not to say that there aren't worse cars. There's 130 cars in the game, and this just happens to be the worst one that I've tested on track, so definitely don't recommend this for track. As far as drag is concerned, it's actually okay. It runs a time in the 8s, but it's definitely not the best. It's going to be somewhere in the middle towards the bottom actually of the test that I could run, and that's an 8.8 quarter mile. Now, as far as drift is concerned, it actually drifts pretty well. Now, it doesn't score super high, but with the drift build that I did, this thing actually is controllable. You can sustain drifts. The rear wheels will continue to spin. You've got a lot of control over the car, and it's kind of easy to switch or transition from left to right as long as you just give a little tap to the handbrake, and it should transition really, really well. Aside from that, the off-road build is just okay as well. So I'm not really that excited about the C10. It might be the best truck in the game because all the trucks in this game are pretty garbage, not gonna lie, but I don't know, maybe the Land Rover might compete with it. I'm not sure. As of right now, I've only tested a couple of trucks, and that's this one and the Raptor is absolute garbage. So that being said, it is the best truck that I've tested so far. Now that's going to change obviously after I do more builds. My plan is to do as many builds as I can until the next Need for Speed comes out. I want to finish all of the cars in the game, so this is just another notch on my belt. If you have any questions about it, you can definitely hit me up on Instagram, Discord, or Twitter. My DMs are always open. Feel free to do that. And that's really it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Everybody, we made it to 50,000 subs, and I'm super thankful for that. Here's to another 50,000. Thanks, guys. Trigger out.